you guys. I am here with Bilan. She is a dental hygienist and entrepreneur. She has her company, Chocolate, and she's just going to discuss with us all about being an entrepreneur, all about working at Aspen Dental, which is a DSO. And she's going to share some fun things with us. Tune in, stay tuned, and here we go.
Hi everyone, I'm Belanji Perez Torres. I am an aspiring I'm a dental hygienist and a dentalpreneur, and I'm excited to be here to talk a little bit about what I'm doing. I am owner and founder of Chocolate, which is a hot cocoa that promotes dental health. And how I got involved into a little bit in the food industry was, well, first, I love food. So it was made sense to go into that. And hot cocoa is a nostalgic beverage that, especially in our long winters in central New York, I grew up with a different type of hot cocoa, not the Swiss Miss or the powder. And that I decided I wanted to innovate it. I didn't know how, but I wanted to innovate it. And that kind of made my mind go into wheels of turning, and it's like, okay, how do I innovate hot cocoa? Because hot cocoa, there's different types out there, but why not develop another option that's healthier? And the best way I could think of how my journey has evolved is I decided to invest in personal development. And I knew I had an idea, but I had no clarity around it. So I decided to I found a women's retreat. And sure enough, it was a Steve Harvey's women's retreat.
Oh, wow, cool.
Yeah, it was. And I said, I need to be around like-minded people, because I've never really met anyone that really started a product or a brand on their own. I did have family support, but they were more like cheerleaders, but they didn't have the knowledge to help me really set up and to start off my business. So I went to there, and before I went there, I prayed. I said, Lord, I'm not going there to waste my time. It's an investment. Please connect me with somebody who's in the chocolate business, because that's what I want to do. I just don't know how to go about it. And sure enough, in the meet and greet section, I met a woman. I introduced myself as Bella, and she looked at my name tag and she said, "That's not your name. Why are you shortening your name?" I'm like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Your name is Belanji, and it has a beautiful meaning. It means beautiful angel. And your parents chose that name for you. Why aren't you using your full name? Why? You should never reduce yourself for anyone else." I was like, whoa.
Exactly.
I was like, "Who are you?" And when we talked about what she was doing, she started to say, "Well, I just produced my chocolate bar." I was like, "This is the angel. This is the angel God has sent for me right at day one, first hour in the meet and greet." Like, it could not have been more aligned. And after being around her and other amazing, empowering women that had different journeys, different stories, career shifts, I left there with the clarity I need and the vision I needed to change, evolve my product and brand. So that's how I first started.
Yeah. So let's back up. So I met you maybe 2.5 years ago at RDH Under One Roof. I don't know, we just clicked it off. You came to the BrownGirl booth, we had dinner, we had lunch, and it was just a connection, right? Like, we're like, oh my gosh, like BrownGirl RDH, like I'm a BrownGirl. And I don't really remember you talking about Chocolate back then. So when did this idea come, and where did it kickstart, and how did you start that? Like, how did you start the process? How did you know, let me go to this women's empowerment retreat? Why would this be a good thing for me? How should I invest in myself? And the reason that you did that, it took you to the next level in meeting that lady who was in the chocolate industry, which is amazing, and being in that inner connection with Steve Harvey. Like, that's so, yeah, take us back there. Like, I want to know about that.
I think one of the things I really enjoy doing in the last several years is really invest in myself. After I reached 30, I was like, okay, I met a lot of my personal goals. What's next? And it was time for me. I was ready to kind of create a shift, or I was always into creativity and attracted by people innovating things. And even the most simplest thing, including the fork, the spoon fork, I was like, I've been fascinated with these
Oh
little
yeah.
innovations.
Yeah.
And I knew that in order for me to move to the next level in my personal and professional development, I needed to separate myself out of my comfort zone, travel alone to a conference, and, but with deep rooted goals that I'm something, a great outcome is going to come out of
Mhm.
it. So I went there, and the clarity I got from Chocolate was one of the things that Steve Harvey often says is you can take the passion of you have to take your passion and then turn it into profit. Well, passion for me was dental hygiene. I love dental hygiene, but I knew I couldn't really start a practice on my own. That wasn't really ideal for that time. And I said, okay, how can I innovate hot cocoa so it ties in with my profession? And that's when I realized, wait a minute, going back to that nutrition, what the things that we put in our mouth does affect our overall health. So what are some of the benefits cocoa has? Well, obviously I knew I wanted to put xylitol in it because that's what, our profession really talks highly about xylitol. But when I actually dug into some of the other ingredients that I added in there, especially cocoa is a superfood, and it has natural antioxidants. But there's also a research out there that I believe somebody did it as like their thesis, uh, that there's a theobromine extract within the cocoa that also helps remineralize enamel. So cocoa has all these other benefits, and I was surprised it was dental benefits as well.
Yeah. I heard about that. I heard about if you're gonna give your kids something sweet, give them a Hershey's Kiss because it melts off of your teeth, and give them dark chocolate because it's healthier for the teeth. So I've heard that working in the pediatric office before. So
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Yeah, so the more natural you get the cocoa, obviously you dilute it with other stuff, and if it's mixed with sugar, it's probably not as great. But the closer you get to at least like 70% or of cocoa, it just has so much better health benefits all around. It's a superfood. The problem is a lot of hot cocoa beverages, their number one ingredient is sugar. So I said, okay, I love hot cocoa, but I'm packing the calories and the sugar, and it's not good, especially all winter long. I'm going to look like a Oompa Loompa by the time spring comes. Let me, change the hot cocoa, innovate it so it's healthier, but it still has that nice, rich, chocolatey flavor. And so the chocolate, which has the te is separate from chocolate. The te in Spanish means tea. So because of the antioxidant benefit, and it's also dairy free, it's all you have to do is add hot water to really get that some of those benefits. That's how I came up with the name chocolate.
So te is teeth in Spanish.
Tea, like
Okay, tea.
Tea. Tea. Tea.
Tea. Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that's very creative, and that makes it more of you because of your name, Belange, meaning angel.
Yeah, beautiful angel.
In Spanish. Oh, I love that. I love that.
Actually, French. I don't know why my mom picked a French name. She got it from a telenovela actress. She named her baby girl that, so it went.
Look, my name is alcohol. Martell is a cognac. So we're not going to talk about names right now. But everyone's like, oh, it's French. Yeah, it's French, and it means hammer in French, by the way. Like, it's not beautiful anything. So I can't shorten it to Bella if I wanted to. Maybe Martella, but not Bella. But no, that's amazing. Like, I always say, like, everybody thinks about, what if I created something? Like, some people have that entrepreneur spirit that, like, I'm going to make something, I'm going to invent something. I remember before BrownGirl RDH started, I was watching Shark Tank, and I was always trying to come up with ideas to create something. I don't even know why, but it was like, oh, maybe I can make a device that zips up dresses in the back if you don't have anyone to zip up your dress. And then I Googled it, and it was made. And I was like, dang it. And like, it was just a point where I was doing dental hygiene, and I'm just like trying to think about things to create. and you don't reinvent the wheel. Like it's already there, right? You just find ways to innovate it. So you're finding your passion for chocolate and then incorporating it into something that you love and something that's very much a part of your life, dental hygiene. That's amazing. And I really do want to, do you have a product? Can we see a product? I'm going to put a link here for people to
Yeah,
go.
it's kind of in back here, but hold on. Let me, sorry, I got like my joggers here, but.
It's just so cute. I just want hot chocolate. I love hot chocolate. I would rather drink that than coffee. Cute,
Oh,
super, super,
uh,
super duper cute.
this is my hot chocolate canister.
Uh-huh.
And being in the food industry, I learned a lot. You definitely have to partner with different people. And I think when you were talking about Shark Tank, there is such a spark in our generation, millennials, there's such an entrepreneurial spirit. And I think part of it has to do because as soon as we graduated, there was a recession and we really had to hustle to become financially comfortable. But because as a result, there's so many resources out there. I found going to another development conference by myself in Syracuse, New York, which I live near Syracuse, New York. I found incubators. There are a lot of small business incubators that are often branching off of universities. So if you do have a business idea or a product, find some of these small business incubators and you'll be surprised. They have such a vast network and they will coach you and help you into getting your idea on paper and hopefully turn it into reality.
Yeah. So one of the things you did was you went through a university, or you went to a conference and then you got connected.
Yeah, and one of the conferences had a table clinic, like the tables during the hall session, and I said, "What are you doing?" And it was called the South Side Innovation Center, and the name just like Innovation Center. What's this all about?
Yeah, innovate. Yeah, right.
Yeah, and sure enough, it was. It was actually Syracuse University. They had 3 different types of incubators. One that was community focused that had a certified kitchen. Another one that was women's business only. It was focused on women business. And a third one was more like a tech garden for people who wants to start a business in technology. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. They have a whole entrepreneurial program in Syracuse University, but I love how they try to create or develop facilities within the city to help the community, to help people who are either minority, underrepresented, help them and at least start them up for success.
Oh, that's really amazing. Like you were like, when you're talking and you're explaining what you did and how these things came about, there was no playbook, right? I went there and this came for me. So what's meant for you is going to be. And I always try to tell people that when they're like, okay, how did you start your nonprofit? And I'm like, I will be happy to sit here and tell you, but I don't know. Things just fell into place. I Googled something. It came to me. I was like, okay, let me apply for this. How to apply for it? I read up on it. There was no coach. There was no, there was no one holding my hand through the entire thing. So people that look at you from, the outside, they're like, wow, like, I wonder what resources or what she used. Like, I don't even know. Like, I was just at the right place at the right time. And it was a passion of mine to do what I needed to do. So I was going to make sure it got done. It wasn't like, oh, this is an idea. It might be cool, but I'm really not investing into it. So it was like every day I woke up, that was on my mind. And I'm pretty sure every day you woke up, your vision was on your mind to like create something. And did you know it was going to be hot chocolate? Probably not. You just probably thought, how can I incorporate chocolate into the dental community, into dental health? And then hot chocolate came about. When BrownGirl RDH first started, it was just going to be, I need a support group for people that are going through things like me. Like, I'm a professional, I'm a dental hygienist. Everything should be going right in my life. But because my family is struggling so much, it's like that heavy burden that I keep reaching out to lift them up and support them, and it's dragging me down in the process. So I'm like, I need to create a support group that's going to be for people like me that come from these disadvantaged backgrounds, that, you know, I'm not in a disadvantaged situation, but my family is, and it's just constantly affecting me, my life, and my children. So that's all Brown Girl RDH was going to be like. And then I was like, wait a minute, so let's think back about when I was in dental hygiene school, and when I wanted to go to dental hygiene school and I couldn't afford it. And why I couldn't afford it is because I didn't have support and I didn't have the resources, and I had no clue. Like, nobody in my family went to college, so it was not attainable at that time. It was like, I can't do this. I'm a teen mom. I'm pretty much poor. I think I was working at the Gap at that time. I was working at the Gap, and it was like probably $9 an hour at the mall. So you don't think about things. All you think about is this paycheck that you're getting that's not even $300 a week. You think about being a teen mom, not having a car, having all this credit card debt, having bill collectors call you, and you going to school and being this professional is not even in your vision. So for someone to say, like, you know what, I know where I am, I know who I can be, like, I'm going to work towards that, and it's going to be whatever I have to do to get there. So you have to have that, like, it doesn't matter what obstacles are there, I'm going to be that. I'm going to do this for my kid, my family. Like, I'm going to make a difference. So whatever you do as an entrepreneur, you have to have the passion behind it. You have to have your heart behind it. A lot of times we invest so much money and time into what we're doing, and most entrepreneurs lose money in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
I went in debt creating BrownGirl RDH. I got all these credit cards. I was going to all these conventions. I was like, swipe, trip here. I went in so much debt. I think the first year I was like almost $14,000 in debt, but I didn't really care. I was like, you know, it's going to come back to me. Like, what I'm doing is I'm helping people. I was working 40 hours a week at my job, and then I was temping outside of that. So the 2 days off that I had off, because we're open Monday through Sunday. So I work weekends at my job. So I was off Mondays and Thursdays. So Mondays and Thursdays, I would temp and make that and save that money from temping. You know, you can just get 1099, so you get your whole check. It's not a thing where you have to get taxes taken out. So I was making a lot of money without taxes getting out, and I'm like, I'm going to start a scholarship fund, and this money that I'm temping with is going to go towards my business. So they say, like, your 9 to 5 is who you work for, right? And your 5 to 10 is what you're working for. So you have to separate that. You got to be like, I'm going to do my 40 hours, so it's not going to affect my family and my income and my bills. But this extra money, like, I had bags under my eyes. I was looking crazy, but I'm like, I'm going to start this organization. And then I did, and I took that money, and it was, I wanted to start a scholarship fund. I didn't know how. So I went to my community college, and I was like, what do I have to do to start a scholarship fund? And they're like, oh, you just need $1,000 to start it. You have to do it every single year. There's certain requirements. So I'm like, okay, that sounds easy enough. I temped 2 days. I got $1,000. I came back. I'm like, okay, where do I sign? Like, let's do this. So, you know, then they have the criteria. It's like, okay, who do you want your scholarship to go to? And I was like, well, when I was in dental hygiene school, I struggled not with tuition because I had Pell Grant and student loans to take care of that, but I struggled with like the instruments. I couldn't get loops.
I think
Anything extra, the board fees, all of that stuff, uniforms, all of those things that I had to buy outside of tuition going to the school, I had to purchase it, and I didn't have that support. So that was the struggle for me. And I was like, I want the scholarship to go to the unexpected costs, things that people are like, wait, I have to get loops, or wait, I have to get a board fee. So that's what the scholarship requirements are. It can go to books and it can go to tuition, but it has to go to anything outside of that. And the scholarship is awarded to anyone who's eligible for Pell. If you're eligible for Pell, you have a really low income. And the scholarships aren't, you know, race-based or anything, because you can't do that because of Title IX. So they're open to everyone. But every year there's a scholarship at that school for a student in need. It's a BrownGirl RDH scholarship. And like you said, that lady walked up to you and said, do not change your name. Same thing with me. They were like, okay, what are we going to call it? And I was hesitant to be like, okay, am I going to call it BrownGirl RDH? Because it doesn't necessarily need to go to a brown girl. But I'm like, you know what? I am a BrownGirl RDH. This is the name. This is my name. So you have to live, and you have to be like, it might not mean whatever it means to you, but it is who I am at the end of the day. So if I'm giving money to someone and this is my name, then that's just the name. If you don't want the money, then I didn't think money had a color, or titles. So if you don't want it, then don't apply for it. So I had to really think, like, am I going to offend anyone using this name of what I am? So just whatever you do and stay true to who you are and what you are. And then people love it. They're like, oh my gosh, like, and it's like, you think about it. Okay, what is that? It's not like, oh, dental hygiene scholarship. Okay, dental hygiene.
Not something
It's just basic, right? So yeah, like I love that the name is incorporated into what and who you are as a person, how you were raised in your family. So sorry, it's going on and on, but yeah.
I think it goes back to what you said, authenticity. We talked about passion. You got to have passion for something and then lead with that passion. You may not know where you're going with it, but once you identify your passion and you start to seek, the answers will come. They will come, but you got to provoke answers in order to receive it. So you have to lead with your passion, be authentic. And I think the other thing we both experience is got to get mentorship. We don't know how to do everything. You said you talked to the school on how do I start a scholarship, and they gave you some advice and direction to it. I had different advice, people to mentor me along the way. And I definitely found an innovation center that had a food kitchen and partnered me with a food scientist. I didn't even know there was a food scientist.
Right. How interesting is that?
So when you continue to, if you have an idea, you have a passion, but you don't know where you're going to go with it, just continue to look, investigate, do your research, sign up for conferences or network with people who are tied within a similar passion. And when you're talking with them, you will start to get ideas for yourself, and things will start to fall into place and make sense. And then now your vision is slowly going to turn into reality.
Yeah. So yeah, when you're invest and take that time. A lot of people start off and they're like, oh, I don't really have $300 to go to this conference, but you have to make that investment because there's somebody there that doesn't matter $300 or $500 to go to a conference. That's probably the person you need to be connecting to. Mm-hmm. The people that you need to be connecting to aren't going to be in your face. They're not going to be in your circle. So we need to get out of that comfort zone and be like, well, let me get out of my circle and go with someone that might not necessarily be in the dental industry, right? A lot of our friends are hygienists or dentists or whatever. Yeah, let's go talk to a food scientist because maybe, they might trigger something in me to say like, hey, let's do this. A lot of my relationships that I have business-wise, they are not dental at all. Absolutely. They are doing other things. They're in other health situations. They're nurse practitioners. They're entrepreneurs, gym owners. Like these are people who are like, they can give me other aspects of business or what it is. It's just not dentistry. Yes, we're focusing on dental hygiene, dental hygienists and dental hygiene students, but that's not it. You can only get so much from it. And then another thing is everybody in our dental community, our hygiene community, we're all trying to do the same thing. If you look around, it's like you're doing a webinar, like you're a coach, you're a life coach. It's like you got to kind of get out there because if everybody's going for the same food, it's going to be very limited. And then how can you grow? How can you grow? So it's about constantly like figuring out a way to make yourself different. Like, what am I going to do differently? It can't be the same across the board.
No, and like you said, you went to other people outside of your profession, and I do that. I often do that because I get insights from a different angle. And when other people give you their input on your ideas, it's like, oh, I never thought about it. But if you're within the same circle, it becomes repetitive information, almost predictable. It's predictable information.
Predictable, yep.
Yeah, so you want to get outside of your circle. If you go to these, even if you go to RDH conference, I know we tend to go in groups, with people.
Yeah.
Intentionally meet someone new. You should be trying to meet new people and grow your network because that person might know somebody else who can help you get where you need to be. And it might not even be dental hygiene focused.
Yeah. Like you said, we're millennials, but I think hygiene for a lot of us who are interested in being our own boss are we're dental hygienists, but dental hygiene is like, it's secondary to what our passion is. Some of us don't even know what our passion is. We're just like, I know I don't want to do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I knew I didn't want to do dental hygiene for the rest of my life when I signed up for dental hygiene school. I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die and be a hygienist. Like, but some people are. But I just knew it. And if it's any sense of, any doubt, like, wow, maybe this isn't for me, just know if you have it in you, you're gonna be something great. You're gonna create something. It didn't come to me. BrownGirl RDH created a nonprofit, came to me at year like 7 of being a hygienist. And I had no clue. I wasn't even thinking about it at all. But then it's like, look what it turned into. And sometimes I just have to like kind of pinch myself, like, oh my gosh, this is really like a legit organization that's like all across the nation in different countries, and people know about it. People know about me. And I'm just like, wow, it just came from an idea, and it just came from me saying, I'm just going to do it anyways. Like, I don't care. And if I would have changed the name early on, which people told me you should change your name if that's not who you're all focusing on, you should change your name. I was really going to change the name of the organization because someone else said that. You don't have to listen to everything that someone says. Take it into consideration. But if it doesn't resonate with you, and if you're not like, yep, you're going to know if it's some advice that you need to be taking, that little instinct inside of you is going to be like, yes, I need to act on that. I need to do it now. One of the decisions was, okay, you're going to start this organization called BrownGirl RDH, but you're saying you want to be inclusive to everybody. It doesn't matter who you are and what you are, but you want to increase diversity in dental hygiene for minorities, whether it be men, whether it be Hispanics, whether it be, Blacks. You want to increase that representation. So if you're going to do that, then why should it be called BrownGirl RDH? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's a good question. But no. It doesn't. It can be called BrownGirl RDH. If you go over to the Irish pub, you're not like, oh, if you're not Irish, you can't come in here, or like the European day spa. Like, I want to get my wax. I'm not European or of European descent, but I still want to get it. So you don't question or second guess it. So why should it be different for an organization that came from my heart, that is who I am? Why should it make a difference? Why should that be the deciding factor as to who we help or who is interested in it? It shouldn't, right? So just, oh my gosh, I just can't stress that enough. Stay true to who you are and what you want to do, and don't because sometimes people they're only going to see things from their perspective. Maybe in your mind and in your heart, like, okay, I'm going to do this and this is why I'm doing it. But someone else may be looking at it like, well, you're going to offend a lot of people by doing that. Well, are you? Is it offensive to you? Who is it offensive to? Because what's offensive to you may not be offensive to me, right? So you just got to go for it. And there's going to be times where you fail and you fall, and that's okay. And there's going to be times where you get back up, and there's going to be those aha moments, and there's going to be those moments like, I don't even want to do this anymore. Why am I in debt? I wanted a Mercedes. Why am I driving a Honda? Like, this is not worth it. This is definitely not worth it. Speaking of which, starting off, when I graduated hygiene school, I started working in private practice. And from private practice, I went to a corporation of a lot of small, it was a company, but it had a lot of small dental offices. And then the smaller dental offices, like the private practice, the mom and pop, started getting bought out by the bigger offices. And right in between that, it was about 2014, I ended up moving to North Carolina. And I started working for a dental office that was open 365 and from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. And I've been there since then. Well, I'm not there anymore because of the coronavirus. But just being in that one practice setting, it's like, it's a whole nother world out there, and going to conferences and hearing all these new terms like DSO and what's the other ones? Because you work for Aspen Dental, right?
Yeah, that's the main one, is dental support organization, DSOs. And then there's typically private practice. And then you have the healthcare, the public healthcare facilities as well. That's a different type of model.
I thought there was one more. I can't think. Well, anyways, we used to call them like franchise dental offices. But I remember before I started, when I was temping in New York, before I moved, I worked for Aspen Dental, and that was 2014. That was a long time ago. But I just remember, it was just, for me, it was like so overwhelming. Like, they had this thing where you had to, like, the hygienist had to be responsible for getting their own material or something.
Oh, their supply orders?
Yeah,
They
the
order
supply
their own
orders.
hygiene supplies?
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna come out of my paycheck. I don't want to do it. And it was very intimidating. But recently I went to the NDRDH board review. They offer scholarships for our students for board review. So I had a booth there, and I was next to one of the Aspen dental booths. And I just went over there for information because for so long I thought, since 2014, that's what I know about Aspen Dental. I didn't know anything else. So I just went over and started talking to the girl that was there representing. And she's like, you know, we go on mission trips, we do things in the community, like they give back a lot. I was just so surprised. And then she was just telling me how Aspen Dental works. And I was like, wow, this is definitely a company that I would probably work for. But can you tell us your experience?
Yeah, I've been with a company for over 8 years, well, 9 years almost,
Oh,
and it was
wow.
half its size when I started. And I now that I have more of an entrepreneurial mindset too, I've seen how much the organization has evolved. And just like any business, you're going to have some things that may not have worked out so great. So you continue to evolve and get better, and you learn from those challenges you may face, but get better. That's the purpose of growth in general, whether it's personal or in a company. You continue to evolve and advance and learn from top industry leaders or experience, and get the feedback from your people too. You have to listen to your employees in order to know what things we can do better on, and get that, and the customers or patient feedback as well. They review a lot of those surveys that come through to identify areas of opportunity. That's where your growth is going to be at its strongest. Dental support organization. I know what word you're probably thinking. People call it corporate dentistry, maybe.
Probably.
So maybe, okay, so here's the thing about corporate dentistry. There's no such thing as corporate dentistry because the dentistry itself is still owned by the individual practitioner. So now the DSO is similar to like what you say, like a franchise model, and where we provide administrative services, which by a private practice, if you ask a private practitioner, they are outsourcing a lot of these resources. They're outsourcing somebody to do their accounting, their social media marketing or marketing strategy, branding, insurance, billing. They're probably paying individual different companies to do that versus the DSO. It's all housed in one organization.
Right.
So, and then you're paying one fee, a flat fee to the DSO versus outsourcing all these other individual companies to help support the practice. So the corporate dentistry, I don't like that term because the dentistry itself is affected to the practitioner. It's owned by the practitioner, not by the corporation. If there's anything that goes wrong, they're not going to go over they're not going to go question the corporation. They're going to actually talk to the doctor or hygienist that provided those services.
Right.
You're a licensed practitioner. You have to use your best clinical judgment to make certain things. Now, the good thing about the DSO is there are support services, but they're also they give you some consultation, and they get a lot of data. They have so much data. They'll share what success can be or what the potential is, and they'll share that information, the latest trends, the latest guidelines, which it seems like the CDC changes the guidelines almost every other day with the current pandemic. And they will provide those resources for you, and they will help coach you, but it's really up to the practitioner if they're going to do it that way or not, especially the practice owners. The practice owners really do help make some of the decisions, what they want in their offices, but ultimately each individual licensed provider is responsible for their own quality of work and their quality of care that they provide for their patient.
Okay, I think a lot of the misrepresented information is like, it's corporate dentistry, and there's someone telling you what to do, how many patients to see, when to see these patients, and how many toothbrushes to give on the bag. I'm just exaggerating with that, but like that's what the stigma is. That's what everyone in new graduates, that's what they start to hear from other hygienists like me in 2014. That's what I knew. So for me to say, oh, I wouldn't want to work for a company that's a DSO because you have to pay for your own supplies, like that would be false to say right now, not knowing what it has evolved into. So like that's actually great insight because I met you at RDH Under One Roof and you went on behalf of Aspen Dental. But
Yeah.
look at that opportunity for you going with a huge organization, a huge dental company like that. You were able to go there. I've been in private practice my whole hygiene career, and I've never had a conference paid for. It just
I
never
know.
happened. So right there, that's another opportunity that you may get. Yes, I'll go on behalf of the company and represent the company, but then look at your development. Look at this connection, and down the road, 2 years later, we're here discussing chocolate, and and letting the viewers or anybody know like what it's all about and raising awareness for that brand. So speaking of COVID-19, like how has that changed? Like what does that look like for you? Like what's going on in your
Yeah.
world?
So our profession, our whole nation basically, but more so I think our profession really had a forceful pause. Well, first PPEs are a short supply, so that's going to be difficult. And obviously we want to stop the spread of the infection, and we're the highest risk for spreading it because we deal with a lot of aerosols in the patient's mouth. Um, I know it's interesting. I think our profession provided a false sense of security because we think, oh, we're a dental hygienist. We're never going to lose our job. Well, we can find a job. And now I'm seeing the dentists being on furlough. So, and it's not just our profession. It's travel, entertainment industry, all these other industries
Mm-hmm.
have happened. But I think because we were in healthcare, we had that false sense of security that we're going to be okay. And so this is a perfect time, I think, to reflect on, all right, here's where I'm at in life. Perhaps I didn't prepare for this. Nobody prepared for it, but it's a great time to just think about what do you want to do. Maybe you did have a passion or have a business idea, but just never had time to act on it. Why not do it? I think another thing that we should focus on this time as well is learn to brand yourself. I'm a little concerned that maybe we're not going to be able to go right back and pick up where we left off. I think it's going to be a bit of a slow transition because our patients are scared. Especially our elderly patients they're really proactive with their healthcare and dental care. They might be afraid to leave their houses for some time, so they might cancel their other appointments. And unfortunately, they're the high risk perio patients as well. So I think it's important to at least brand yourself because you want to stand out within your own profession. You don't want to just blend in because somebody might outshine you and might be a stronger candidate. So I think it's important for us to brand ourselves. What do we have to offer to the profession, to our employers, or to other potential employers? Or maybe this is something that you want to reach out the community or start like a scholarship or start a business or a partnership with doing something else. I think we're at a crossroad right now. I think we're at a crossroads. So either we can hope that we'll be going back to where we left off or create a new opportunity for ourselves. I think that's where I think we are at within our profession. Or you can kind of do both, but I'm concerned that it's not going to be a quick transition. It's going to be
I agree because it's like, okay, so I was laid off like a week ago and I wasn't like devastated. Like I kind of saw it coming, but because it's like people aren't coming in, it started with, coronavirus is here in the US, right? So coronavirus is in our state. Okay, so what are we doing? Okay, don't use the Cavitron. Okay, we're going to be wearing lab coats. All right, we have to walk around with masks all the time. Keep a 6 feet distance between you and another employee. There's over 50 employees that work with me. So I'm just like, okay, we were doing all of these things and it was like we were cleaning, we were disinfecting every hour, wiping everything. So it was like, wow, how long does this keep up? There was already a shortage of masks. You had the
Mm-hmm.
front desk wearing masks, and then they're wearing gloves, and it was just like so. It was like so much going on. Like I just knew eventually we're gonna run out of PPE. And now you hear on the news like hospital workers, the people on the front line, they don't even have masks. So it's like, oh my goodness. So now it's like to go back to it. If we think in a month, someone said their state is talking about going back on May 5th. Just to go back, it's gonna be a rough transition. A lot of hygienists were laid off. A lot of people were furloughed. So it's like, well, are you going to get your job back? Is your dentist going to be able to open the doors right back up and start again? Are they going to lose their business completely? Like, unless you know their financial stance and where they are, were they just barely making it just to keep the doors open?
Mm-hmm.
When this is over, they're probably going to be doing the hygiene appointments. They're probably not going to be able to afford a hygienist. I hope, in my mind, I hope like, because no one's going to the dentist, the gates are going to be flooding. Like everyone's going to be like, I want my teeth cleaned, I want dental services. That's what I would hope, that. But the reality is, like you said, people are going to be hesitant to go into these settings, especially when we're high risk. Hygienists are going to be hesitant. Maybe I don't want to go back as a hygienist. What about the hygienists who actually have been exposed to COVID and they're not coming forward? Like we had a girl a few weeks ago that shared her story about becoming infected with COVID-19. And, how does that work? If you're on your deathbed and you have a near-death experience, if it's really, really bad, like the cases that we see on the news, you think I'm going to go back right back into that? Like, it's going to be like, okay, no, maybe I don't want to go back. So all of those factors, we do have to take all of those factors into consideration. In my mind, I'm like, yes, I'm going to go back, but maybe this is the opportunity, like you said, to maybe go back part-time and work on my organization full-time. I had a conference call earlier with one of our sponsors, and they were readdressing like some of the scholarships that they were going to be giving. It's like, wow, like things are really on pause for the whole world. Like, we can't offer this scholarship because of the current circumstance. And it's like, yeah, I understand. So maybe we should start BrownGirl RDH closing our scholarship process, because we're still open. Like we're still taking applicants. Like we had 3 already this month. Students apply, but it's just like, wait, if everyone's pausing, if the whole world is like, we're not doing anything, like we don't know what's going to happen. These are dental companies that are like, let's pause for a second until everything calms down. That's not surprising to me, but it's like, whoa, you just have to think about what's going on, and plan for the future. Now is the time not to be thinking about like what's going on right now, but what's going to happen after this.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know with your employer, like, we're pretty much set, I'm going to go back, there's an understanding, I work for, I'm in DSO, like my job's going to be good? Or is it like I'm in private practice and I'm probably not going to go back because my doctor can't afford me? These are the honest conversations, that the possibilities. Don't just think, oh, it's not going to happen to me. Like, think as if it's going to happen, and you need to have a plan after. Start working on your resume. Like you said, do things to stand out. Start branding yourself. Like, think about 100 hygienists got laid off in your city. There's gonna be 100 hygienists looking for a job if they can't go back to their office. It's not gonna be anything. What else do you have to offer?
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to sit here and get unemployment? Can I afford to sit here and get unemployment for 6 months until things calm down? Like, you just have to start thinking about what if after. Like, what am I gonna do? And nobody's saying like go out there and try to start a business or organization or spend money or invest money. That's not what we're saying, but just start to have a plan at least. Maybe I can go back to school and take some online classes or XYZ, so I can get a bachelor's degree, so that I can become an educator, or that I can, there's so many things that we can be doing that we don't even think about. Maybe I can volunteer more. Maybe I can become a volunteer for BrownGirl RDH, since I'm just sitting home collecting unemployment. Maybe I can meet up with Belanji and see and shadow her, or just kind of be under her wing if you're interested in getting in the food industry and starting some type of oral health, or not even oral health, but just a health in general product. Like, you just never know. Start making those contacts, because one thing I do know is everybody's sitting at home right now. There's
Mm-hmm.
nobody that's so busy that, you know, they're not worth a conversation or a phone call or email text. So like, don't stop going. I get up every day and I'm still doing, and I'm still working. Like I told someone, like, I'm off work, but I'm freaking working. There's so much to be doing. So, and I'm in school full time. Like I should be doing something with school right now, but I'm probably.
I admire you. I admire you.
Anyways, that's a whole nother situation.
And even though we're not working, you know, it's a perfect time to really be creative. Be creative. Think of a problem that you think you can solve. There's so many things that's going on right now. One of the things I've been seeing a lot of, like you said, a lot of hygienists tend to do things for hygienists. One of the things I have observed is our patients want to know what's going on, what they can do in the meantime for their own oral health, you know. Think of different, like I created a YouTube video the other day, like,
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that.
and who was I talking to? To the patient, because right now the patients, they do want their dental care, but they're also more afraid of the COVID. So what can they do? They're not going to see the hygienist for a while. And I've been seeing questions on certain community pages and say, well, how should I disinfect my toothbrush? Because obviously they're saying you got to wash your hands, you don't touch your face. Well, the toothbrush, it goes in their mouth. I saw a question come through, and other people giving unprofessional advice is like soaking in bleach water. I'm like, no, no,
Put in the dishwasher. Somebody said that.
I was like, no, it's not bleach water. Don't do that. So right now is, I think, a perfect time to reach out to your patients or viewers who are non-dental professionals and find a creative way. I mean, YouTube or podcasts. One of the things I follow different entrepreneurs. One of my favorite serial entrepreneur that I follow is Paul Brunson. Have you ever heard of him?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh my God, I love him. He's a Jamaican. He's always smiling. So of course, we're mouth gazer. So all his videos, he always has a beautiful smile. So he talked about that right now, because people are home, viewership is at an all-time high. Viewership in the news media, social media. They've never seen such a high volume of viewership because everyone's forced to be at home watching something, essentially. That's what they're doing. So why not take advantage of those viewers and create something so they can be drawn to, and hopefully you might start something. You never know. I think right now is a good time, like you said, not to start a business, but test the market. Test the market. You know, if you got something, test it out. Throw a question out there. Hey, I'm planning to start a webinar tomorrow afternoon on this topic. I want to see, is anyone interested in seeing it? If you get a lot of people says, yeah, I'm interested, then go for it. But if you have a lot of people that say no, then it's probably not a good use of your time.
Right. And and my word of advice would be do it anyways. Even if there's a doubt or if you only get one person interested, people might not have seen it. You know what I mean? Just put it out there constantly. Stay consistent. Whatever you're doing, just keep doing it. And then everything else will fall into line. If you do it and then you're not, you fail at it or wasn't successful, keep going. Like, do not stop. Somebody, and it was just like, it drove me crazy. And to this day, I'm going to talk about it every single time I give a piece of advice. But somebody started a business and they got their business letter. Like, it's official. I registered my business. They got their letter and they posted it on social media and they were excited. I mean, I was excited for them. Like, I was like, not even my business. I was happy. Like, whoa, this is cool. And they deleted it because it didn't get enough engagement. And I was like, why on earth? Like, it wasn't even my business and I got offended. Like, why would you even do that? Like, do not give up on yourself. And maybe that person didn't give up on themselves, but I saw it as like, why would you do that? That's something that you were proud of, that you put out there to share with people. And because they didn't receive it, you deleted it. Like, you took away your legacy, your history. What if, a year from now, you're so successful and like you just erase that one part, or maybe you deleting that, put something in the back of your mind to say like, well, I'm not going to pursue the next step of getting a building or doing whatever I was going to do. Like, you never want to put that energy out there. Like, just keep going, stay consistent, don't give up. And the biggest thing is, you know, and I always preach this to everyone that I talk to or I try to give advice to, when you're dealing with social media, people are viewing things from their phone, from their tablet, on the computer. They're probably sitting on the toilet. They're not gonna sit there and like your stuff just because you post it. Maybe they're like, wow, this is cool, I want to be like that person, but they're not gonna like it because they are just so unsatisfied with themselves. So it's just like, how can I be happy for you if I'm not happy for me? So never take reactions and the attention and the likes or the whatever that you get from social media personally, because there's somebody that's not going to be able to like it. They are impressed with what you're doing, but they couldn't even bring themselves to smile or clap for you because they are unhappy with themselves. So keep that into consideration.
Yeah.
What you post on social media is just a reflection of what you're doing. It's not going to reflect back on how people see it for you. So don't use that as a gauge at all. Never use it as a gauge. What you should be using as a gauge is how it makes you feel and how it makes you feel and what you have accomplished, and the next goal, the next step as a path. Like, post it, share your story, share your legacy. Don't stop posting it, because people are not, you're going to have a picture. Like, I do this all the time. I post cute pictures, right? Well, I think they're cute. I don't care if nobody else don't think they're cute. And I love that my pictures that I post. I like my own stuff. I sure do. So I'll post a picture and it'll be a really, really nice picture, super cute. And it'll have like 300 comments, likes, reactions, whatever you want to call it. Then I'll post like, we just gave the scholarship to a BrownGirl RDH recipient, 0. What we're doing, I know, is impactful. It's definitely something that I'm happy about. The person that got the scholarship is happy about, and something that everybody that should be looking at is like, wow, this is amazing. But you know what? They're not going to do that, because what that translates to them is, she is being successful in what she's doing. I can probably be doing that. Why am I not doing anything? I'm just not going to acknowledge it. I'm going to act like I didn't see it, because it's a reflection of what I should be doing. That's what people do. It's horrible. Versus, wow, this is a cute picture. I like that outfit. I can go to H&M and get that same thing, do my hair the same way, and I can look like that if I wanted to. I'm going to love this look. You see, people are very simple-minded. And if you understand the way people think, like, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but if you really start to get deep down into how people react in the behavior, people react off of emotion. Like, this is a cute picture. It takes no emotion for me to like your picture because it's cute. But if I see that you're being successful, or you have a partnership, or there's something an award that you got and you post it, then my emotions is going to say, wow, I wish that was me. Or what am I not doing to get there? Like, I'm doing all of this stuff. Why am I not being noticed? Why are these opportunities coming to her and not me? And people start reacting on emotion, and then they drop back, and then they're like, well, I'm not gonna like. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, you know, at that day, you're going to attract the people who, you can't please everyone. You can't please everyone. And you're going to attract your tribe eventually. There's going to be people that are going to be like drawn to what you're doing, and other people may be indifferent. Like, they don't care, or they're like, oh yeah, I'll support you from afar, but don't recognize you the way. But I will say, it's all about the quality. It's not so many it's not about how many likes you're getting or how many viewers you're getting. It's about the quality. Who is watching you? Because that's what's going to help your business grow. These are the people who are going to be loyal to you, or are going to connect with you differently. They're going to refer things to you. It's more about the quality of your viewership versus quantity of your likes and viewership.
Right. That's just amazing, because some of the things that some of the opportunities that have came about is not because I've met anyone. It's because someone else saw what I was doing and said something. I promise you, it said something to someone else, and then I get a call or an email. Hey, Martel, I heard about what you were doing, or I saw what you were doing. I want to connect. I want to help. Like, that's how it happens. It never happens because it's somebody that I know, right? Because if you know them, it would be happening already. So just keep posting and keep putting yourself out there. Keep branding yourself. Stay true to yourself, because nobody wants a copy of if everybody's doing the same thing, it's not going to make you different. Guess what? I'm very much different from a lot of dental hygienists, very much. So I'm going to stand out, and it might not be everybody's taste, but you know what? I'm not like you, and you're not like me, and I would never be, right? I'm always going to be who I am. So,
we're all unique. We're all unique, and
yes.
we have something to offer. We just need to figure out what that uniqueness is. And it's interesting. And you might not recognize your own uniqueness, but somebody else can. So ask your friends and family, throw a question out there in Facebook. It's like, what is it about me that's really unique that you can point out? And you'll be surprised on some of the responses, because people know what your talent, for you, it's natural. So it doesn't feel like it's a unique
quality
skill or personality. It's for you, it's who you are, it's your natural. But somebody else could say, no, you know what, you have such an interesting sense of humor. Every time you speak, it's like I'm engaged because you're hilarious. The things that you say, I wish I had that type of uniqueness, but everyone has a different talent. Because if we were all the same, we would all be clones, and we're not.
Right.
So we all have some sort of unique skill set or talent that is already part of our natural personality, but other people wish they had that.
Yeah.
So use that. That's your talent. Use that gift and maximize on it.
Exactly. Yes, use what you got to get what you want. Actually, no. What was I gonna say? Oh, and another thing I'm starting to see on social media, because we're really connected, that's all we're doing now, is people are doing things that you normally wouldn't see them doing. Like they're downloading, TikTok apps, and they're doing videos, and that is so cool to me. Like, I'm like, wow, I didn't know you had it in you. Like, you can dance. Like, what's going on? And it's so, because then now you're getting to know people for who they are. It's not like, oh, business. It's like, I mean, I can do this too, and things can be fun. So people are trying to find new ways while they're in quarantine to be just to be creative. But one thing I will say is, like, we're all dealing with some form of trauma. Like, this happened unexpectedly. We're out of work. We don't know when we're going into work. Our kids are out of school. Now we're teachers, and now we're the lunch lady. And it's like all of these things are happening, and we're just being bombarded with so much information. I'm like, oh, do I even want to put on and some information is false and some isn't. And then you're like, well, let me just turn on MSNBC and just watch this press conference. And then you're like, what is going on the TV? What is this, honey? And it's just like, I don't even know, like, are we coming or going? Like, is this it? And you try to stay optimistic. But what I will say, mental health, take a break, unplug from any type of media if you need to. Go outside, pick some flowers, pick some weeds. I mean, do something. Like, try to actually get out at least once a day. Sit on your porch. Just get outside of the house, because in the four walls, like, they start to close in. So if you can't go anywhere, just try to get out, go for a walk. I know we have a 5K coming up. It's free for anyone who wants to participate. It'll be something that everybody's doing on May 2nd. It's social isolation, so you can just go run outside. Go on your, hopefully it's not raining that day. I need to look at the run on your treadmill, run in place, take some steps. But it's what's the 5K? 3.2 miles, 3 miles, something like that. But that day, do 3 miles. Do one, come back, do an hour, another. Just do 3 miles that day, and then you contribute to the cause. It was a virtual fundraiser for dental hygiene scholarships. People applied. Those people people signed up and they registered. Whoever registered prior to COVID, they're going to get a shirt to participate. Anyone who volunteers or registers after COVID, they can still do it. It's free to join, but they just won't get a t-shirt. One of the groups, the dental groups that actually, any of the dental groups that register, we only have one at this time. They post their picture. It's a We Run It group. We have it on Facebook, or you just tag the BrownGirl RDH page. Post your photo of you on the We Run It day. The most creative dental office wins one of these mouthwash intraoral cameras. So this is mouthwash. This is like a mirror, I think, and then a tube. I don't know, unless it's like a magnifying glass. Looking at
it does look like a magnifying glass, like you're focusing. You're watching.
Like, I don't know. But anyways, any group that's a dental office that wants to participate as a group, and they are very creative in their pictures that they post, they can win a mouthwash intraoral camera. I have it here. It's so cute. But It's a camera and it comes with the sheets and all the instructions. Why is that purple? It looks purplish.
Oh, it looks blue on my.
It looks blue on my screen.
Well, it's white, but there's a blue on the.
Oh, right. Yeah, so I thought this was pretty cool. So they actually donated this as a prize for a dental office. So it's kind of fun to get back. Maybe it'll give some people like sense of hope. Like, we're gonna be okay. When we get back, we're gonna be using this mouthwash camera. So it is good. It's good to have for your patients. It's good to have to show them what's going on in their mouth. For insurance companies, you can take a picture. You literally plug it up to your USB on your computer in your operatory and snap the picture, and it captures it and saves it on the screen, or it'll be on your your Dentrix or whatever X-ray system that you use. So that's pretty cool. So you guys don't forget about that. Yeah, just get out, do something. Any advice? Do you have any advice for anyone?
I think just invest in yourself during this time. There's different books out there, different podcasts. I know Jasmine Haley has one too. If you want to, if you have entrepreneurial spirit but still lacking idea and clarity, she has one that you can follow. Support each other. I think it's important that we support each other through this time. We all have different talent that we can bring to the profession or even outside of the profession. And I think it's a great time to really reflect on who you are, what you want to do, how can you brand yourself. Even something as simple as starting a LinkedIn profile. If you haven't done a LinkedIn profile, it's important to do that. That's like an online resume. You'll be surprised opportunities that come through. It's not always job related, but perhaps if you post something and somebody is attracted to, like if you have a gift for writing journals and articles, maybe somebody who's involved in the magazine may message you that they're interested in your story. You just don't know. There's a lot of opportunity there. So good luck, everyone. I know I'm hoping we still have gum disease did not go away.
Yeah.
Patients still want to be proactive. If anything, I think people are going to be more proactive about health in general, especially oral health. And their hygiene generally is improved. Everyone's washing their hands and face all the time now. But it's a trying time, but we're all in it together and we're all going to come out of it. Just be optimistic, be creative with the opportunities that you can attract or create for yourself. And hopefully if you ever want to find me, I'm on Instagram, dental_hygiene. My product is on Amazon. Actually, Chocolate is on
my goodness.
Amazon.
Okay, I'm gonna order. Is it available for Prime?
It should be, but right now Prime is acting funny because with the COVID.
Right.
So I'm hoping it's still on Prime. It was, but I know they prioritized other things for a little bit. But it's on Amazon, so try it out. All you have to do.
We're gonna put the link. I'm definitely gonna order some of it because if I don't even drink chocolate, I drink not hot chocolate, but if I don't drink coffee, I drink hot chocolate and I mix it.
I've been hearing that. So it's like
so good.
It's like toffee, right? Chocolate and coffee.
Yeah. Someone said it's a mocha, but I'm like, no, it's hot chocolate and coffee. It's not a mocha because you're not adding chocolate to it. You're adding hot chocolate. Anyways, they have one at Dunkin' Donuts. I know Dunkin' Donuts is something in the north, not something.
Dunkachino?
Yeah, the Dunkachino. I love the Dunkachino. I don't know. There's something about that tastes good. Like I really want. Like I'm not a what do you call it? Like I can drink any hot chocolate. It doesn't have to be a specific. It can be Swiss Miss, Dollar Tree. Like as long as there's some whipped cream on it, like I love it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna order that. I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Thank you so much for sharing that. Like I hope everyone watching has an amazing day and you got some nuggets, some little chicken nuggets from this. Some chicken nuggets from this. Just take what you need, leave what you don't. The message isn't gonna be for everyone. But yeah, this was fun. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for inviting me and for the opportunity, and I hope to see you guys around or hear from you again.
Yes. I'll put all the information in the links so you can find her hot chocolate and any other things that we need. Bye, guys.